When the Super Bowl ended, the ball would be in the hands of Tom Brady. I don't know why we ever think it won't.
It's time for the Home Team on the 10 Talk Radio Network. The Home Team is brought to you in part by Iceman Development, LLC, a pioneer in ice rink development. By the Palm Pavilion, 10 Bay Esplanade on Clearwater Beach. By the Original Mattress Factory, with 3 Tampa Bay locations. By Mahoney's Auto Repair, 4040 Fifth Avenue North in St. Petersburg. And now, here he is, the arena voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Orlando Magic, and the press box voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Paul Porter.
Well, thank you, Pat Porter, and welcome to the Home Team. This is not Paul Porter. This is Jason Alessi. Paul is he's out this week. He's attending the service, the celebration of life for his good friend LZ Mahoney, who unfortunately passed away recently. But our thoughts and prayers are with LZ's family right now. But so Paul is not here. This is Jason Alessi, and I am very happy to be joined this week by our good friend, Marshall O'Shields. Marshall, good morning.
Morning, Jason. Who was that did the opening there? Because he called him Pat Porter.
That's Pat Porter. Yeah. Paul's brother.
That's his brother.
Paul's brother lives in Canada.
That sounds really good, man.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Well, we'll just have to have him do the opening like all the time for us when we're here because he sounds enough like him. But anyway, I'm just happy to be here. There's nothing to talk about. What a great weekend to show up. We got college football all over the place.
That's right. That's why I'm glad you're here this week for week one of college football. A ton of stacked games this week. We're very, very excited about that, and we're going to get to all those in very shortly. But want to start with the Bucs. Of course, a week from tomorrow, the Bucs will open their season against the Washington Commanders, and it's quite a difference from the beginning of last year going into the season. A lot of uncertainty, not high expectations. Of course, Tom Brady had retired. You had Baker Mayfield. You didn't know what you were going to have. Didn't know that he was going to have the great season that he had. There was a lot of questions regarding, Todd Bowles' effectiveness as the head coach, and I think it was a feeling that they were not going to have a very good season last year. And they surprised people. I think they surprised a lot of people. They went 9-8, won their division, won a playoff game in impressive fashion against Philadelphia, and then their season came to an end in a close loss on the road to Detroit. But going into this season, there's a big difference. There's high expectations. They've got their quarterback now. They re-sign, a ton of their veteran players. Their young players look to be very good. They've drafted extremely well. So now it's the type of situation where how are the Bucs going to handle having expectations this season? And of course, the schedule is going to be tough. That's what happens when you win. You're going to get a tough schedule. They play a lot of very tough teams. I know they play the Chiefs, they play the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles. So many, but. I guess what I'm thinking, can this team be a playoff, not playoff, can they be a Super Bowl contender this year? Well, that's the real question.
They were closer last year than any of us thought, I think, and they added some nice pieces. Todd Bowles is this amazing entity to me because I've never wanted to like the guy. There's nothing there that I ever wanted to like, but all of a sudden he's like taking me over. Like all of a sudden I'm starting to inch toward the other way, and I'm starting to really like this guy. And for the longest time with his no emotion and the way he said things and the answering without answering and everything that I heard from the guy, but yet now all of a sudden it seems like it works. Like he's figured out a way to get these guys ready to play. They were close last year. I still think that, Detroit is a very beatable team. I think San Francisco is a very beatable team. I think more than the AFC, there's less really good teams in the NFC. Mm-hmm. So I think Atlanta is going to be good this year, but we'll just have to see how that situation comes out with Kirk Cousins. But I think that he is a perfect fit for that team to come into this division. The Bucs were the team in the division, and now I think the Falcons are. So we'll see if the Bucs can maintain that level.
About Todd Bowles, it's interesting. So many people felt the same way about Tony Dungy. They felt even before he became a head coach that with that personality wouldn't work. How are you going to motivate the team? How are you going to get the team to to play and perform? Well, obviously he showed that you can do that, and it's not about, you don't have to be a fiery personality, but you just have to be able to get your point across and get the players to buy into what you're doing.
But the one thing that Todd has done is he's a defensive mind, and he's stayed in his lane. Like, he takes care of the defense, and he lets his other guys work with input during the games, obviously, but he's more concerned about what he's really good at. And I think that really makes you better as a head coach when you allow your guys around you, your coaches, to do their jobs. And I think that's what's making him successful right now.
New offensive coordinator this year, Liam Cohen, brought in. Of course, he's bounced around from the NFL to college, but he did work some with Baker Mayfield a couple seasons ago when Mayfield finished the season with the Los Angeles Rams. Cohen was his offensive coordinator there. So they work pretty well together, and so I think that's going to be something to watch.
Getting plucked away, and for other teams, that shows you're bringing in some good people.
It is. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose them, but that's a good sign that what you're doing is working. So, I think, though, looking at how the Bucs have drafted, and this is where I do give Jason Light a lot of credit, because so many of these draft picks have come to fruition. And we saw last year alone, the 5 of the rookies last year, on defense, Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby, the cornerback Christian Izien, and then on the offensive side, the offensive lineman Cody Mauch, the receiver Trey Palmer. 5 players all contributed in big ways in their rookie season. I think you have the potential for something like that this year. Looking at, of course, Graham Barton, who's going to start at center, out of Duke. You've got the wide receiver, Jalen McMillan out of Washington. I thought looked very good during the preseason, and we've got so much depth at the receiving position, but I think he has a chance to really make an impact. Bucky Irving, running back out of Oregon. I think he's going to be a great complement to Rachaad White at that position. I mean, he's a smaller guy, but he's fast. He can find the holes very quickly. And I just think you're going to have an opportunity for these players to step up and make an immediate impact. I love the mix that you have with the veteran players and the younger players, and I think that's what you have to have in order to have a successful team in the NFL, and certainly to have a Super Bowl caliber team. Of course, the one question you always think about is the injuries. You don't want that to happen. All teams are going to have injuries. The only question is, to what players and how serious they are. That's just the nature of the game, the NFL. So
it's all going to come down to, can they run a football?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
They've got everything in place. Last year, it took them a while to get Rachaad White going, and they found out in the passing game he was way more effective. Now you got a new offensive coordinator, so let's see how they use him, and if they try to run the football, can they run the football better? I mean, it definitely was a pass-blocking offensive line last year, that's for sure. Let's see if they can push some people around and run the football and play some defense this year.
I was impressed by Rachaad White's improvement, in year 2 from year
but
1.
It was mainly Jason in the passing game. He caught 80 balls.
He may be the best screen catching running back in the NFL.
But that's what I'm saying.
Anytime you get him a screen, he has a chance to
their lack of a running game with that. So I'm just curious to see if they can run the football when they need to run out a clock in a game or something like that and make some plays happen. I like Rachaad White a lot. The question is, can they be a blocking offensive line in the run game? That's
true. And, of course, I do think that having a guy like Bucky Irving to complement him there is going to be key. Looking at their schedule, the first 2 out of 3 games, I think, are very winnable. The games at home against Washington in the opener, and then their third game they play against Denver. Now those are 2 teams that were not playoff teams last year that are going to be starting rookie quarterbacks. Washington with Jaden Daniels, and Denver with Bo Nix. So certainly, I think now, granted, there's no easy games. You got to show up. This is the NFL, but I think those are certainly very winnable. But the others, game 2, they travel to Detroit to play the Lions. Try to avenge that loss in the playoffs. Then later they'll play Philadelphia. They're going to start in the division, I think, at Atlanta, at New Orleans. Those are all, they've got a tough schedule.
So what I hear you saying is they need to get off to a fast start.
Yes. they got off to a quick start last year and then had a slump where they fell to under 500. I think they were 4-6
at one time.
Yeah,
and they started catching up.
There was a lot of doubts at that time about whether or not they were going to make the playoffs. But to their credit, they rebounded. So I think what you hope is this year there's a lot more consistency. Where they're gonna get off to a good start and they're going to continue to win. They're not going to have a period of the season where they go into a major slump. That's what you'd like to avoid this year.
No, we'll see. So, hopefully they figure it out, and the new offensive coordinator makes his presence known right away, and this team gets off to a fast start.
Yes, we'll hope so. So we'll get to see him a week from tomorrow against the Washington Commanders. I want to touch on the Rays real quick. Last night they got pummeled by the San Diego Padres, 13-5. You said your son went to the game and left early.
He said it was ugly.
Ugly, yeah.
Wasn't worth staying.
Looked like it. Yeah. I mean, when I first I don't get Bally Sports anymore, so I don't watch a lot of the games. But I did turn on when I went on the computer to look at the score, and then it was like 10-4, I think.
Okay.
So
we're going to give a couple quick shout outs to some people on Facebook. Donald on Facebook, he's out fishing, I guess. I don't know. John's watching, Hank's watching, and John's traveling to Gainesville. And then, of course, he brought up, what happened to Johnny Goudreau. That was just crazy.
Well, one
of the weirdest things that you just don't want any tragedies like that.
No, horrible situation. Yeah, Johnny Goudreau, the 7-time All-Star in the NHL. Of course, played the majority of his career with the Calgary Flames and now with the Columbus Blue Jackets. But he and his younger brother, Matthew Goudreau, they were riding their bikes in New Jersey on the eve of their sister's wedding, of all things, going to be groomsmen at their sister's wedding, and they were struck and killed by a car when it appears to be a driver who was under the influence. Horrible story. Yeah, you just hate to see something like that.
So that's enough about the Rays. So let's just let's move on.
Yeah. And so the games today starting at noon. We got number 1 Georgia versus number 14 Clemson. Okay, two teams that have been two of the top powerhouses over the last several years in college football. Clemson, of course, for years it was between Clemson and Alabama. And then the last couple of years, Clemson dropped off a little bit. Not that they're bad by any means. They're still very good. They just weren't national title contenders. But, hey, you got Dabo Swinney, one of the top coaches in the country. He's been getting in the recruits, so that's going to be a tough game for them against Georgia. But we're going to see what happens there, and then that's going to lead into later on to Miami and Florida. That's the big in-state game. But we're actually going to do a contest this week on the Hurricanes and the Gators. That game will be at 3:30 in the Swamp in Gainesville. Two coaches under enormous pressure, especially Billy Napier with Florida. The first 2 seasons there have not gone particularly well, and they have a tough schedule. They really do. I think they have the toughest schedule in the country according to rankings. You almost feel like for the Gators playing at home, this is a game they might have to win. I mean, to get off to some kind of good start.
Being an FSU guy, I hope they lose every game.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
I think Miami is loaded this year. I hope Napier stays because that means they'll never be good. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. So, but anyway, that's just another. This day of kicking off college football this weekend is just a fantastic weekend if you're a college football fan, where you just want to sit there on your couch and order some Uber Eats and have people keep bringing you food and drinks, and you just watch football over and over and over and over.
Better believe it. That's what I'm going to do after this. We're going home and everything. Just sit on the couch and and get good food and watch good football. Later on, they got Notre Dame and Texas A&M. That's Notre Dame's number 7. Texas A&M is number 20. And even then tomorrow night, you've got LSU, number 13, against number 23, USC. That game's going to be on a neutral site in Las Vegas. Two teams that of course, they're the top 2 quarterbacks win the draft, Caleb Williams and Jay Daniels. So they're going to be going with new quarterbacks, trying to start a new era of football there. And Florida State, of course, had a tough loss last week against Georgia Tech. They're going to try to rebound Monday night against Boston College. Now, obviously, Marshall, you being a Florida State fan, what was your takeaway from that game and what happened with that against Georgia Tech?
Probably the worst feeling I've had in a few years. Even I guess under the Mike Norvell regime is the worst feeling I've ever had, because I felt like we got out physicaled, we got outplayed, they showed more heart than us, and those are things that are very difficult to fix during the season. So, I mean, they literally pushed us around. I mean, I hope Georgia Tech is everything against everybody else that I saw last week, and that wasn't just a fluke, because then that's going to make me really worry. But I'm not sure you can figure out getting pushed around and the defense couldn't get off the field. Georgia Tech went on 3 long drives of over 75 yards in the game where they just could not get off the field. There was no penetration getting to the quarterback. Running quarterbacks have always given Florida State issues, and we couldn't figure out what they were doing. They ran the ball down our throats. We had several opportunities to make plays. They even they messed up a snap before they kicked the game-winning field goal and lost 12 yards, and we still allowed them to run a little swing pass to get back into field goal range on 3rd down. Defensively, I just don't know what they're doing. They don't have any identity. They lost a lot of leadership, and I think that's the biggest thing now is, can you find leadership? And Boston College has a really good quarterback that ran all over us last year, and we almost lost to them up there. So it's going to be interesting to see the changes and how Mike Norvell motivates this team, because I know as a fan, and I talked to a lot of FSU people this week, it was a weird feeling going into this game Monday night. Like the excitement level just got taken out of us over that game last week.
It makes it all the more critical that they responded. And in that game against Georgia Tech, they got off to a great start. They marched, took the opening drive down the field, not only scored a touchdown, but also got a 2-point conversion. So you went up 8-0, but you're right. The defense couldn't take care of their business.
That's right. A couple more things, Jason, on Facebook. RCM, of course, says hello. So John said, go Miami. Donald has caught 4 redfish and 3 trout. So Donald, there's time to get down here and cook up some lunch for all of us down here.
I think so. That'd be great.
So let's see what we're doing, and everybody keep watching and listen. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes. And for those of us, we're gonna of course, we want you to call in, and we'll take your scores, but we'll also take your scores on Facebook too. For those who put those in, we're gonna get the final score and the halftime score of the Florida Miami. Yeah, John was actually going to that game. He called in last week. Mm-hmm. He's going to be.
It's going to be hot. At Gainesville today. I can't imagine going to that game. I wouldn't mind going to FSU night game, but man, hot at Gainesville today. Holy cow.
Yep. Well, it's going to be hot all over the state of Florida. Well, that's why I don't go to the Bucs games anymore. I was not having a good time.
I agree.
I'm fine with watching it from inside, air conditioned. And I want to mention though USF opens their season tonight against Bethune-Cookman. Second year under Alex Golish. What a season they had last year with him. I mean, taking him from just a 1-win season the previous year to winning 7 games. You're going to a bowl game, winning a bowl game. Alex Golish has his team, I think, moving in the right direction, and they have a chance to, I think, improve even more. Next week, of course, will be the tough one going up to Tuscaloosa against Alabama. They played them here, at Raymond James Stadium last year, and it played them tough. I mean, it was the final score was 17-3, and it was actually 10-3 late before Alabama tacked on another touchdown. So they held their own, and again, that's going to be a tough game, but. Obviously, I think the excitement has returned to USF.
Well, I think what we need to see is I'm hoping he can take that next step. We see some people come into this program, have a little success, and then all of a sudden something happens and they just tank. Can he build off of last year,
right?
Show some improvement, get them to another level, and just keep this upward trend going. That's what I'm hoping we see with them, that he can sustain this, because that's been the difficulty for USF over the past, decade at least. Is that they get up and right when you think they're there, something happens and they just drop 3 or 4 in a row and don't look like the same team. And then all of a sudden they're back to where they were. It's like they're 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I'm hoping he can build off that Alabama game and all the momentum that he created last year. And they go on to have a very successful season this year.
And that's the key. USF has really struggled to find any kind of consistency since Jim Leavitt. And, he obviously built that program from nothing. And, built them. I mean, maybe they might have had faster success than any other program, I think, to begin with. When you think how quickly they went from Division I AA into Division I and then to a major conference. And Willie Taggart did okay for a few years, but he was really using this as nothing more than a stepping stone. I think
Right.
Alex Golish at least has said that he wants to be here the long term. It would be great if he can continue the success. I think, and hopefully that would lead to USF maybe getting into a better conference like the ACC.
But can USF, are they willing to make that happen?
Yeah.
Are they willing to pay this guy if they get up to where they are?
Yeah.
And keep him here. That's going to be the question.
Get a new stadium and all. I think that they will. But again, let's hope that the success continues. Let me get out the phone numbers here. We want you to call in at 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. We're going to hit a quick break right now, but we'll come back right after this on the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network, AM 1340 and 1350, FM 106.1 and 102.3. And as always, Facebook
Live.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
When you talk about ice rink development in West Central Florida, one name stands alone: Iceman Development, LLC. Gordy Zimmerman, president and founder of Iceman Development, has played an integral part in the construction of the Ice Sports Forum in Brandon, the training home of the three-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Advent Health Center Ice Complex, a multi-million-dollar facility boasting 150,000 square feet, and ranked the top indoor ice rink facility by both the USA Today and Yelp. Iceman Development is currently involved in creating yet another outstanding ice rink facility in Trinity and Pasco County. Iceman's company mission is to build community projects that impact the area both in quality of life and economic growth. For more information, visit icemandevelopment.com. That's Iceman with two N's, development.com.
Folks, let me tell you about a gem of a restaurant in Carrollwood. It's Hank's Place, where you'll find some of the best barbecue, catfish, wings, sausage, gator, shrimp, and a whole lot more. Their meats are dry rubbed and slowly smoked. All of your favorite sides, too, from baked beans to collard greens to mac and cheese to onion rings. Are you hungry yet? Discover why Hank's Place at 8546 North Dale Mabry, just 100 yards north of Waters Avenue, is a place that locals have known about for years. Hey, would a guy like me lie to you about food? Hank's Place, a place to hang your hat and lick your fingers.
Your number one home team fans, Auto Owners Insurance and Vermost Insurance Agency is a winning combination. We'll work with you to ensure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, and secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit the Vermost Insurance Agency in Tampa Bay today at vermost.com. That's vermost.com.
Hundreds of sets of gently used golf clubs is what you'll find at T&D Golf Stores. Conveniently located at 4205 West Waters Avenue, half a mile west of Dale Mabry, T&D has the best repair facility with the largest selection of grips in stock. You'll find a wide variety of new and used golf balls, shoes, gloves, and accessories. Family owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. T&D Golf at 4205 West Waters Avenue, a half mile west of Dale Mabry.
Sooner or later, you're going to need a plumber. It's just a fact of life. Want somebody honest and reliable? The plumber I use is the Bearded Plumber. I've known Thomas since his high school days and now is an established plumber who offers 24-hour-a-day full service because plumbing emergencies don't wait. Keep this number handy. You know you're going to need it. It's 866-882-3273. The Bearded Plumber, 866-882-3273.
Life Builders Christian Counseling Center brings hurting people to wholeness in Christ. Life Builders is a professional counseling center with multiple counselors and locations in Brandon and Tampa. They offer in-person, Zoom, and group sessions, counseling individuals, married couples, children and adolescents, and families. Some of our licensed counselors take most insurances. Call 813-438-5949 or visit lifebuilderscounseling.org. Life Builders can help. 813-438-5949 and at lifebuilderscounseling.org.
For the second straight season, the Clearwater Threshers are back in the playoffs. Cheer on the Threshers in the minor league baseball postseason on Thursday, September 12th at Baycare Ballpark. Game time is 6:30 p.m. and features the regular Thursday staple, Taps and Tacos Night. Get ready for Threshers postseason baseball, plus tacos and burritos from Lowe's Southwest Grill on Thursday, September 12th. And get your tickets now at threshersbaseball.com. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Porter, voice of the Lightning and host of the Home Team Sports Radio Show. I'm here to tell you about our educational home team, Cambridge Christian School. No longer Tampa Bay's best-kept secret, CCS is the perfect blend of academic rigor and a biblical worldview foundation, serving families for over 60 years. Come see why we are the #1 rated Christian school in Tampa and visit us at ccslancers.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And welcome back to the home team. This is Jason Alessi, joined with Marshall O'Shields here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. We've gotten a couple of scores in online on Facebook. John from Clearwater has picked the Miami Hurricanes 30-23 and has a halftime score of 17-10. The Rubber Cement Man has also picked Miami 35-24 and has a halftime score of 17-11 in that game. And Marshall, we got some other people visiting on Facebook.
Just some shout outs. Linda, Stephen, and Patty watching and listening on Facebook Live.
Thank you so much for listening in. And we were talking about college football, the big opening weekend, a lot of great games. We mentioned the Bucs, of course, getting ready for their opener next week against the Washington Commanders. I hope they have a good season. The Rays, well, it's the Rays, 13-5. It is what it is. Unfortunately, I think they traded away any hopes of possibly making the playoffs this year. Go ahead, yeah.
To steal a line from Major League, it doesn't look too freaking good.
No, it's not. But better like next year. And hopefully the pieces we got in those trades are going to develop. And when we move into our brand spanking new stadium, Stu Sternberg is going to make a decision to pay the guys and keep them together. Or, again, maybe that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, one of the guys that I heard coming somewhere, I can't take credit for it, said, we're going to have the best minor league stadium in all of the country.
Yeah. Well, and it will be like the Miami Marlins. You build a new stadium and the people do not come.
Yep.
You stay away.
But I'd take 2 championships, though.
Huh?
I'd take 2 championships like the Marlins. I'm sorry.
You
I just would.
So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, though, let's go to the phone lines. We've got Donald from Lutz with us on line 1. Donald, good morning. Welcome to the home team.
Hey, Marshall, Jason, hope all is well with everybody.
Good morning.
Good. Out fishing this morning?
No, yesterday.
Okay.
So you're cooking them today.
No, actually, I released them all.
Okay.
I took photos. I don't keep fish when I'm out in my kayak.
Gotcha.
When I'm out in a boat, I can have a big enough cooler, but on my kayak, I just carry a small cooler for my drinks and snacks. But I was out yesterday, Caladesi Island. Water was really clear. It was beautiful out there, catching redfish and trout. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it must be better now because they opened scallop season back up. And I'm actually going to go tomorrow with a buddy of mine. So the water must be way better.
It is. So good. That scalloping is a lot of fun, and they are delicious.
Big time. So Donald, we're getting ready because big weekend of college football this week. The pros are going to start next week. So what do you think?
I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'll watch some college. When Trevor Lawrence was with South Carolina, I watched those games, and Tebow, of course, and Kyle Trask, the Steelers. But I'm not, I'm like Paul. It's football light. I mean, if there's a game on, a Rose Bowl or whatever, something interesting, I'll watch it. But it's still fun, though. Good for these kids.
Yeah. What do you think about the Bucs as they begin this season? I know there's the expectation level is going to be different entering this season than it was last season.
I think they're good. Yeah, I think they've got 11 wins in them this season.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, their defense is going to look good, and so I think we'll be fine. We've got some great receivers. As long as there's no I'm no jinxing it and bad karma, but injuries.
Yeah.
If we don't get played with injuries, I don't see why we don't play for the NFC title.
That's the one thing that's always the X factor is the injuries. I think for every team. I mean, you look at like the Jets, all the excitement with Aaron Rodgers last year. What happens? First couple of plays, their season was basically done after that. So you never know that with the injuries, they could happen at any time. You just hope that that they don't happen to your key players, and if they do, that they're not serious and are not season ending. That's what you hope for. But I do. I like the Bucs. I love what they've done. I love the mixture of veteran players and younger players. The younger players have really stepped up in a hurry. You think about the rookies and even some of the guys that are going to be entering their second and third year. I think those players are really going to make a huge impact. And with with Baker Mayfield having the season he had last year. Now, again, Mayfield, we've seen it with him. He's looked really great at times, and then he's kind of crashed back down to earth. The hope is, based upon last season, he can continue that momentum and carry it, and it's not going to go backwards a little bit like it did with then when he was with Cleveland, and then kind of that one season where he played some for Carolina and some for the Rams. The hope is that we're gonna we've got great Baker last year, and we're going to continue to get great Baker this year. I think it'll be a fun season. I mean, we're going to compete. I don't see us not making a wild card at least. Yeah. No, I definitely think we should at least be a playoff team. That's the hope. I mean, the division is you've got Atlanta, who's certainly going to be improved. New Orleans is still not bad. I mean, I think. It would be a mistake to sleep on the Saints. They have a strong defense. They have some good players. And the question is, with their quarterback, can Derek Carr, kind of lead them to that next level of play? They weren't bad. I mean, they did beat the Bucs, I think, last year. They split with the Bucs last year. I think the Saints won here and the Bucs won in New Orleans. But the division's going to be interesting. I still think overall the Bucs are probably the class of that division. I think Atlanta's certainly going to be improved, but I think between offense, defense, and special teams, at the end of the day, I think the Bucs are the best team, and let's hope they play like it.
I don't disagree with that statement. I think they'll have they definitely should win the division. I don't see why not. Mm-hmm. How far they go after that, and I was so stoked that they beat Stilty here. That was just awesome.
Yeah. In the playoffs, that was a very, very exciting win. Don, I know you don't follow college as much, but you want to get in our contest. We're doing Miami and Florida for this week.
Yes, I've got. I'm going to pick Miami to win 28-17.
Okay.
And it'll be 10-7 Miami halftime.
Okay, and halftime 10-7. Miami. Okay. Yeah, everyone has picked the Hurricanes thus far, so that's going to be interesting. Doesn't bode well for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, they don't look like they're going to have a great team. I don't know. I'm looking them up, as we were talking and stuff. So I Googled them and see what happens.
Hey, Donald, when you're not in your kayak fishing, when you're in your boat, what are you catching? You still do inshore?
I don't have a boat.
Oh, I thought you said when you're in the...
No. When I'm on somebody's boat, I have a friend. He's got a 17-foot center console, and I take him to spots that I know of, catching trout and red and stuff.
Hey, knowledge like that is very valuable.
Yes,
and
it is.
Friends with boats. Friends with boats is even better.
Yep.
I used to have a boat. I used to have a 22-foot Chris Craft for almost 20 years. And I sold it a few years ago because I couldn't get anybody to go, and gas is expensive.
Right.
And, boats, you know what boat stands for? Break out another 1,000.
Yeah. Good point.
I sold it. I've been kayak fishing for 15 years now. So, and I've got a motorized kayak that'll do about 5 miles an hour, hands-free steering. You steer with your feet. So it's got forward, reverse, got a throttle like a boat, but it's electric. My battery weighs 16 pounds, so nice lithium battery. So it's incredible being out there in that kayak.
Fantastic.
You're in it.
Yeah.
Just can't go fishing.
No, yeah. When you're in the water and it's a nice day, there's nothing like that.
Yep, going back out on Monday. It's the last day. This last day that the fishing tournament goes on. I'm sure, Jason, you know CCA, right? Coastal Conservation Association.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they put on every summer the 100 days of fishing for $80 to win prizes, and it's a raffle. Every fish that you enter is a raffle ticket prize. So
that's great.
Plus the money goes to great causes because CCA does great work here in the state of Florida.
Fantastic. Well, have fun, Donald. All right. And
all right, you guys take care, and let's go Rays. Come on, let's play some ball.
Yeah, I know. You know they're trying. They're just undermanned right now. So we'll see what happens. The hope is they can get, they'll finish right around 500, maybe a few games over 500. I look to see what they do. I just hope that I would hate to see them go into a tailspin completely and just lose down the stretch. Don't want to see that happen.
These other teams need these games more. They have better talent, and this is what happens all the time when you do a sell-off. They had 1 week where you gave you a little bit of hope. They had a couple new guys come in, did some things, and now they've turned into that team that they're just not good enough to win at this time of year in August when everybody else needs to win to get into playoffs. Yeah. And the teams they've been playing, Houston, San Diego, the Dodgers, these teams are all they're playoff teams. The Diamondbacks, it's one after the other, and they're just better right now. They're just better, and that's what's going to happen.
And look at what Randy did to us.
That's serious against the Mariners. Yeah, no, he let Rosarena let us have it. Said, take that, Randy Lands. He says, I know. all right, Donald. Thank you.
Take safe time.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. And want to touch on this real quick. Football, the NFL. On Thursday night, you got the first game, Kansas City and Baltimore. They also, for the first time, are going to open with the Friday night game, the Packers and Eagles, which will be available on Peacock to start the season. I know we brought up the topic on past shows about having football on multiple nights, as opposed to having it with the traditional, the college on Saturday and the pros on Sunday and Monday. Doing the Thursday night, now doing the Friday night. Marshall, what's your take on it? Do you like that? I mean, as a football fan, do you want to have it those nights, or would you rather prefer to have it less?
I want any football anytime I can get it. But I think what's going to drive me these next few years is with all the stuff of all these different networks and everybody taking over and the YouTube and the Peacock. It's going to drive me to go back. We're coming full circle. I can remember back in the 80s and early 90s, I was going to sports bars to watch games. And, then when I got within the DirecTV, got the package, I started staying home and watching games on Sunday. And now I'm almost to the point where I think I'm just going to go out and watch games out again because it's just gotten too many networks, too many different things. Yeah. They all want you to purchase them. And I think Paul was the one that said it a long time ago that eventually we'd be almost paying for every football game. Yeah. And it sure feels like that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. And I was a fan of that. Of course, I was hesitant to do the streaming for a while. I think the final straw was last year when you had the snafu between Spectrum and Disney, and then they took ESPN and several of the other channels off. And my mom and I were already unhappy with what we were paying for cable, which was outrageous. So we decided we were looking at a different option. Well, it turns out with streaming, it's so much cheaper. Okay, and we've got we have Hulu, we have Amazon Prime, so we could watch the Thursday night game. She was already a member of Prime, so that channel came with her membership online, but and then we actually added Peacock last year when they had the playoff game on there because that was relatively cheap. Even between those three, we're paying a lot less than what we were with the cable. But I hear you; they keep adding. To multiple networks and multiple streaming services, and ultimately, if you want to watch all those games, you got to pay more. And then I just think it is kind of a hassle. So wish they wouldn't do that. But anyway, we're going to hit another break. I'm going to give out the phone numbers right here. We got lines available. 727-441-3000. 727-441-3000. We'll be back right after this on the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network. AM 1340 and AM 1350, FM 106.1 and 102.3, and Facebook Live.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
There's no place like this place anywhere near this place, so this must be the place. That's what they've been saying about the Palm Pavilion since 1926. The Palm Pavilion on the north end of the sparkling beach is a Clearwater beach landmark. Situated directly on the beach overlooking the Gulf of Mexico, the Palm Pavilion is the place to order cool tropical drinks and watch spectacular sunsets. Tempt your taste buds with perfect pasta, sizzling steaks, chicken or seafood wraps, shrimp and crab chowder. Come for a day or stay for the night. A casual atmosphere featuring live entertainment on the deck. The Palm Pavilion Inn and Beachside Grill and Bar on sparkling Clearwater Beach. Visit them on the web at palmpavilion.com, or better yet, visit in person, 10 Bay Esplanade on the north end of Clearwater Beach. The Palm Pavilion Inn and Beachside Grill.
This is Paul Porter. For the past 12 years, we've not endorsed an air conditioning company on the home team. Until now, I'm happy to tell you about the family-owned and operated air conditioning company, Action Air Conditioning. David Russell and his family run their business with three principles in mind: honesty, integrity, and reliability. They've been in business since 1988. They service the entire home team listing area. From service to AC checkups to a whole new system, Action Air Conditioning is the AC company for you. Why do I speak so highly of Action Air Conditioning? I've used them many times at multiple properties, and I've been completely satisfied every time. Visit them on the web at actionairconditioning.com. That's actionairconditioning.com. Or you can call them at 813-935-6644. If you're in need of an air conditioning company, take it from me. Action Air is your company. 813-935-6644. 813-935-6644. actionairconditioning.com. One of the questions I'm often asked is, how do you do it? With my busy schedule of working for the Lightning, Magic, Buccaneers, and the home team, I need to be in very good health. One person I have to thank for keeping me in good health for years is Dr. Troy Stirk of Stirk Family Medicine. He's helped me keep my blood pressure in check, my heart running smoothly, and an overall healthy feeling that is confirmed by my lab results. If you're looking for a good family physician, I heartily recommend Dr. Troy Stirk at Stirk Family Medicine. You can reach his office at 813-264-7922. That's 813-264-7922. I'll tell you, Dr. Stirk is fantastic, and I'm sure you'll feel the same way if you become one of his patients. So now that you know my secret to staying healthy with a busy schedule, it's your turn. Call Dr. Troy Stirk at Stirk Family Medicine, 813-264-7922. This is Paul Porter. You know, with the schedule I keep working for the Lightning, Magic, and Buccaneers, a good night's sleep is a must for me. That's why I'm happy to tell you about the Original Mattress Factory. Their mattresses are hand-built right here in Tampa Bay with the highest quality at a very reasonable price. They aren't like these other mattress companies that'll jack their prices up every holiday and then do a so-called super discount during their so-called sale. You actually end up paying more than what the mattress is worth. The secret is, with OMF, you're getting factory direct pricing and eliminating the middleman retailer. There's no high-pressure salespeople either. OMF is employee-owned, and they make it all about you. Double-sided mattresses, and they even email you when it's time to flip your mattress. Stop by their factory on Almerton Road in Clearwater and see for yourself, or visit one of their stores in Tampa or Brandon. There's nothing like a good night's sleep, and you'll get it with the Original Mattress Factory, and you'll get it for less. The Original Mattress Factory. Did you know that Cambridge Christian School Athletic Department was honored with the Kerry McDonald Award as the 2A Athletic Program of the Year for the second consecutive year? The CCS Lancers have had 71 district championships, 21 regional championships, 5 state championships, and 37 Final Four teams. Over 200 of our student athletes have signed to play at the college level, and one has joined an NFL team. Visit us today at ccslancers.com. After a car accident, there are many questions that you need answers to. Who pays for my car repairs? Who pays for the medical bills? What about my lost wages? And more. The personal injury law firm of Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes has been answering these questions for their clients for nearly 70 years. Since 1955, they've been a voice of the injured in the legal system. As one of the longest established law firms in Tampa Bay, Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes is here to answer your questions. Listen to their live call-in radio show on this channel every Tuesday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. or call them at 727-796-8282 or visit them at voiceoftheinjured.com. Offices Clearwater, non-attorney spokesperson.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And welcome back to the home team. This is Jason Alessi along with Marshall O'Shields this week. And want to update some of the scores on Facebook. Roy is picking the Miami Hurricanes 30-26. It has a halftime score of 17-7. And Kirk has also picked Miami 35-17 with Miami leading at the half 14-7. No one has picked Florida yet. Very interesting. I mean, Miami is the ranked team. They're number 19, and Florida is unranked, but it is in the swamp. I think the line I've heard is Miami is a 2.5-point favorite. So I mean, going in, it's not that the Hurricanes are a decisive favorite here, and so we're gonna see what happens there. But again, huge pressure on both teams. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can confirm it's Miami's favored by 2.5, and the over/under for this game is 54.5.
Okay.
So that may factor into anybody else who's still making picks, but that's the way it looks right now.
It's interesting. Miami and Florida used to always play every season, just like with Florida and Florida State Miami. The big three in state were regular rivals until I think it was in the late 80s. The series was discontinued between Florida and Miami, and then it picked up several years later. They play every now and then, but not on a regular basis. But you'd almost wish you'd love to see the big three play each other constant. I think that always made it exciting. But I guess things change with conferences and all that, and then having to get in your conference schedule. I guess some teams having to get in a few cupcakes too. Although I still don't like that at all. I don't like the idea of some teams schedule, like Florida next week has Samford, and or teams to just beat up on. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, but I think you got to find your identity. Like if you trust me, as a Florida State fan, not knowing what we were going into this year, I sure wish we'd have played one of those just to see where we were. Yeah, because I'm just saying, sometimes Florida State for the last 5 years has played a kickoff game against a really good opponent, LSU, Virginia Tech. I mean, it's been good games that they're not playing a patsy, and they won them, but. Like I said, you need to measure where you are certain times.
But can you really do that if you're playing a patsy? I mean, even if you play a team that you're much better than and blow them out, you can say, well, you're supposed to do that. But what does that really tell you anything then when you have to step up and play a really good team?
No, but what I'm trying to say is that when you change quarterbacks and you don't have a guy out there that's never played for your team and your system before, starting against a tough opponent is going to be a difficult thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying sometimes I see both sides of it. I would have rather played somebody to see what we have at FSU this year rather than have to travel over to Ireland and play a competitive team and then lose the way we did. But I understand why teams do play that patsy early, but the teams that are willing to jump in a game like Clemson and Georgia today, it benefits both teams because Clemson can't hurt themselves today. No, they just can't.
Yeah, not at all. And that's the other thing. We're going to lead into the playoff. This is the first year of the 12-team playoff. Of course, they had for 4 teams for years. It's interesting. Thinking back, I was always a fan of the regular season mattering more in college football, where one loss could potentially knock you out of the national title hunt. To me, I thought that made all the games that much more exciting, that much more intense. And I really like that, and I was really not in favor of expanding it to even a 14 playoff for years. I was like, there should just be 2 teams. There's a way to get it. I know there's some controversy about which 2 teams it should be when the records were even, but I always felt you could take the strength of schedule, and you could also take what team just looked better, the eye test or the style points, if you will, and you could determine who the best teams was. But then, then they went to the 14 playoff. I felt, okay, that's not bad. I could do it. But what really, really got to me was when, and maybe changed my mind on all this, is when it became the norm for star players to start sitting out bowl games. And when they would start having the mindset that, well, if the bowl game is not part of the playoff, if it's not part of the national title picture, we don't care. And so we're done. We're gonna not play And we saw what happened. We saw it in several recent years, but clearly last year that what happened with Florida State and Georgia in the Orange Bowl, that was a train wreck. That's an absolute fiasco.
We talked about this last year, and we'll continue to talk about it. Once they open the transfer portal thing and all this money's flying around, it's to the players now. It's become a business, just like it's become a business in the NFL, and it's about money. And when you open this as the NCAA, this is what you got.
Yeah, it's
about a lot of players that aren't going to play because they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to risk their draft status. They don't want to risk setting up their future for one game. It really doesn't mean anything to the overall picture. And you can say all you want that it means to your teammates, this, that, and the other. I get that.
Yep.
But the bottom line is you gotta weigh the big picture versus the small picture. And the NCAA has put these kids in that position.
Well, it's a selfish mentality. And I also will say I think so the coaches
it's not
did
a selfish mentality, Jason. It's not.
If
you're setting up for your family for money,
if you're in a team sport, and it's not about the team anymore. It's just about you.
It's what's the difference of whether that team wins or loses that bowl game if it's not for a championship? Nothing.
Nothing. So let me ask you this question then. What happens if, let's say, your team is having a bit of a disappointing season? Let's say you're about midway through the season. Your team's not going to play for a national title. You're not going to play for a conference title. What's then to say a player saying, you know what? I'm done.
Because he's still playing for his draft status and the amount of money he can make next year.
But what if based upon previous years, he's already looked at it as an elite player?
Yeah, but has anybody done that yet? No. So you're bringing up something that's never happened before.
There have been some players who I think have stopped playing with a few games left in the regular season.
But what I'm saying is that's never come out as an excuse for not playing.
But my point is that's going to be the next step with this.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree there.
And I just think that I believe. Listen, you're a football player. You've made the choice to play the sport because you wanted to. No one forced you to do so. So in my opinion, if you have made the decision, you're making a commitment. You owe it to not yourself, but everyone, the whole team, the sport in general. This is what you do. You're a football player, play football.
No,
otherwise, don't even play.
No, I totally disagree. This is about setting yourself up, your family up, your future. You got to look at the big picture. I don't blame any of those kids for what they did. But the NCAA is the one that put them in that position. They shouldn't have put that in that position. It's a business like anything else. If somebody said, "Hey, Jason, if you close for a week at the bakery, I'll pay you this much money," but you're committed to stay open for your patrons. But then they said, "But if you close, we'll give you enough money to stay open for another 10 years. So are you going to be loyal to your patrons and stay open, or are you going to close for a week?
I'm just
saying that's the situation they put them in.
Yeah, I know, and I think it's difficult, but I'm just saying that the mindset. It's a shame that this is the mindset now. But we're gonna hit a break. We're gonna talk about it the second half on the home team. Please call in 727-441-3000. We'll be back in the second half of the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network, AM 1340 and 1350, FM 106.1, 102.3, and Facebook
Live.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City,
FM 102.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Vicki Barker. They can't protect their children from the horrors of war, but desperate Palestinian parents in Gaza can now protect them from polio, as CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab reports.
The UN says it will attempt to vaccinate 90% of Gaza's children under the age of 10 during these 3 pauses in the fighting. Children who have seen their homes destroyed in Israeli strikes, have faced starvation, and who have also witnessed witnessed the deaths and dismemberments of tens of thousands for nearly 11 months now.
Israel said those pauses will apply only in areas taking part in the vaccination drive. Turning to the campaign trail.
With just 66 days until the election, both campaigns are trying to both expand their appeal but still keep their base. And that balance sent the Trump campaign into damage control mode on the issue of abortion.
Rallying the culturally conservative group Moms for Liberty at their convention in Washington Friday night.
I'm for parental rights all the way. Hello, Pennsylvania.
And boosting his base in Western Pennsylvania hours before, former President Donald Trump aimed to appeal to a powerful voting bloc where polls show Vice President Kamala Harris has an advantage.
Somebody said women don't like Donald Trump. I said, I think that's wrong. I think they love me.
Kamala Harris is also homing in on women's issues, launching a reproductive freedom bus tour that will make more than 50 stops before Election Day. Fill her up on this Labor Day weekend. This gas station attendant is going
all day. From the time I got here, nonstop.
A gallon of gas at the pump costs roughly $3.33 this weekend. That's 48 cents less than a year ago. And GasBuddy.com's Patrick DeHaan says there's more in store.
If we can avoid a major hurricane in the Gulf or Middle East violence, I fully expect that the decline in the national average will likely continue into the fall. In addition, gasoline demand progressively declines as we see cooler temperatures across the country. Those conditions should bring gas prices down another 10 to as much as 35 cents a gallon by the time we get to November.
Americans firing up those barbecues this holiday weekend. CBS's Janet Shamlian spoke to one Houston butcher.
How much product will you go through this weekend?
We're going to go through a lot, about 1,600 pounds of leg quarters, 2,000 pounds of sausage, 5,000 pounds of ribs.
The social media platform X has been banned in Brazil.
A Brazilian judge on Friday ordered the social media giant X be suspended after its owner Elon Musk failed to name a legal representative in the country. The judge accusing Musk of being disrespectful and thinking he's above the law. X has accused the judge of censorship.
CBS's Heather Bosch reporting. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
This is Downtown Dade. How would you like to be able to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business for less than the cost of one 60-second commercial on many Tampa Bay radio stations? Here's the deal. You can have your own 1-hour radio program on the TAN Talk Network for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many Tampa Bay stations. Your program will be on 2 Tampa Bay radio stations and will cover 4 million people in Florida, plus worldwide on the internet in both audio and video. And you'll have a web link for your business on the TAN Talk 1340 website. We provide the producer, the state-of-the-art equipment, free production of commercials, and much more. Check it out today. Call Lola O'Brien, the Irish Hawaiian, at 727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola O'Brien now, 727-510-7622. Call now and your 1-hour radio program can start tomorrow. Call 510-7622 for Lola O'Brien, the Irish Hawaiian, at the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Did you notice? Nothing's the way it used to be. Look at this. Hash browns in a sleeve. Spring-loaded waffles. Orange juice in a box.
At Village Inn, we serve old-fashioned breakfast, the way you remember it, like blueberry pancakes, fluffy omelets, even bacon and eggs.
What do you know? Eggs from a chicken.
Village Inn. Breakfast like you like it, anytime you want.
Home of the Free Pie Wednesday.
This is the radio program Spectrum 360. This is Mark Skogman
and TK Weeks.
Hosts of Spectrum 360 on the 6 stations of the TAN Talk Radio Network. Spectrum 360 is a talk radio program that features politics, the arts, and popular culture from a progressive point of view. Spectrum 360 broadcasts for 1 hour weekly on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and anytime via webcast at Spectrum360media.com. Remember, Spectrum 360, news, politics, and arts from a creative and progressive point of view.
Tune in Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. for Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. That's 2 hours of great gospel music every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m., all brought to you by the Ozona Pig Restaurant in Ozona. Yes, that's every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. It's Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. Tune in on the TAN Talk Radio Network.
This is Paul Porter, the arena voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Orlando Magic, and the press box voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hope you'll join me every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for my weekly show, The Home Team, heard right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network and Facebook Live, The Home Team with Paul Porter, talking Lightning, Bucks, Rays, USF, and a whole lot more. Your calls and prize giveaways. Join us this Saturday and every Saturday morning for The Home Team, 9 to 11 on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
When the Super Bowl ended, the ball would be in the hands of Tom Brady. I don't know why we ever think it won't.
It's time for the Home Team on the Tan Talk Radio Network. The Home Team is brought to you in part by Cambridge Christian School, a Christian education that's affordable and well-respected. By FAS Windows and Doors, with stores in Tampa and Orlando. By Action Air Conditioning, family-owned and operated, serving the entire Tampa Bay area. And now, here he is, the arena voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning and Orlando Magic, and the press box voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Paul Porter.
And thank you, Pat, and welcome to the second half of the Home Team. This is Jason Alessi. Paul Porter is out this week, and I'm happy to be joined by our good friend Marshall O'Shields. And we have been discussing the big weekend of college football that we have this week. We're also getting ready for the pros as they're going to start. They actually kick off Thursday night with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, and then a Friday night game with the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles. The Bucs will open up a week from tomorrow against the Washington Commanders. We do want to mention we're running the contest is the Miami-Florida game. Which is this afternoon at 3:30. We're running the scores for that game. We got a score in from Don from St. Pete. Has Miami winning 30-19. He has Florida actually up at the halftime, 17-14. So please call in. We got phone lines available, 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. Marshall, we're going to get into the college football playoff. This is the first year of the 12-team playoff. And I actually kind of like the way this is going to work. Basically, what you're going to have is you're going to have 5 conference championship teams are going to be part of it. The top-ranked 4 conference champions will have a first-round bye. And then the other conference champion, the other highest-ranked conference champion, will be a part of 5
of the 8
through 12.
Right.
The other 8, basically. And then those teams are going to be, every team is going to be seeded. And the 5 through 12 are going to play in the first round. The higher-seeded team will host the game. They will play that game in their home stadium. And then as they move into the second round, they'll incorporate the major bowl games.
Right.
The Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, all of those will be part of hosting the other games until you get down to the national title game. But it's going to be something new. It's going to be something different. Of course, the lower division, Division I AA, or now the FCS, they've been doing a 16-team playoff for years. But I think this is something that the fans, I think we can really look forward to. It's going to be neat.
Aren't you shocked that it took this long to get to this?
Yeah, I am.
I mean, where has this been? I mean, all they want to do is create excitement and make more money. What makes more money and creates more excitement than
the playoffs?
And it's like, it takes till 2024 to get this done. To me, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of teams that you could have put in this playoff. We should be saying this team has made the playoffs for the last 8 years. We should be saying that right now. And then you can't. But that to me is amazing. It took so long.
It was a long time coming, but you know what? It's here, and I think as fans, we're gonna be really happy when this comes around. I think the first games will start in maybe December 20th, something like that. The first playoff games, but
makes these bowl games. I want to watch them all now.
Me too.
I want to watch them.
Me too. That's what
I lost that feeling for a long time.
The mentality with some of the players not really caring about some of the bowl games.
Right.
The players don't care. It's like everyone. It was more of a burden. Now that it's going to matter again, so that's really exciting. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Kirk with us on the line. Kirk, good morning. Welcome to the Home Team.
Well, thank you. I've got a couple of tickets for the Bulls game tonight. Somebody wants to go see Bethune-Cookman.
That's fantastic. We're going to see anyone who wants to call in to get those tickets from Kirk to the USF game. Yes, we'll get the information to Matt, and Matt he'll get the information for you. I guess you just can't transfer the tickets through the phone or to the email.
Actually, they'll go email right direct to them, and then they'll just show that when they get to the game.
Okay, great.
The good seats are in the lower bowl, so they should enjoy it if they want to go.
Fantastic. That's at 7 tonight, right? The game starts at 7?
It's either 7 or 7:30.
7 or 7:30. Okay. Yeah, so anyone who wants to go to the to watch USF open the season against Bethune-Cookman tonight, Kirk is offering a couple of tickets. So thank you so much, Kirk, for doing that.
Kirk, are you a season ticket holder? We've been talking about them a little bit today, hoping they can carry the momentum.
I've been doing that for a couple of years. I think like 4 years now. I just I like to support the local team, but a lot of times I don't make it to the games, and I like to get them out to people. They're pretty inexpensive when it comes down to it. They give you a nice benefit, and it's fun to go out there to watch the games too, because you get the college atmosphere. And I think and I hope Bethune-Cookman will be bringing their marching band tonight.
That's always a big draw.
Very much so. That is entertaining. And
that's worth the trip over there alone.
It is, and I went to the USF games for and it is fun. USF for years, all of their games were at night, and that makes it nice because as hot as it is, to get over there to watch them at night, it's a much more comfortable atmosphere than sitting there, at noon or at 1 o'clock. And
like sweating. In Gainesville
like
today.
It's going to be today in Gainesville. You're 100% right. So
when you're the frying item, not the hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Kirk, I know you can touch on USF. Of course, they're hoping to make more strides in the second season under Alex Golesh. With a lot of other big games today. What's your take on some of the games today?
I think that Clemson Georgia game is going to be interesting because everybody is saying Dabo won't go into the portal and he's not going to do anything without being in the portal. But, he's a good coach.
He's done better with that, though. He has brought in some players, and I agree with you. They're always physically ready to play. They're mentally ready to play. I think it's going to be a way better game than people think.
And I think the Notre Dame Texas one is.
Yeah, Texas A&M tonight.
A&M is one to watch. That's either Notre Dame season right there.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, Kirk. We were just talking about the new 12-team playoff. The way this is going to work, the top 4 ranked conference champions are going to have first-round bye, and the key word being conference champions, because what that means is Notre Dame could go undefeated. They could be ranked as the AP and coaches poll #1 team in the country. They cannot get a first-round bye because they are not in a conference in football. They're still an independent. So what that means is they can start no higher than the 5th seed in the college football playoff. They will not get a first-round bye even if they go undefeated and are ranked #1 in the country, which will be interesting.
It will be, and there's going to be a lot of small college games today,
and
that are going to be very fun to watch too. So.
We can confirm the dates for the college football playoffs. The tournament starts on December 20th.
Okay.
The quarters are New Year's weekend. The semis are January 9th and 10th, and the national championship from Atlanta is January 20th.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be something different, but I think a lot of people have been looking forward to it. They felt that this was the way that it was moving, and again, I've changed my opinion. I know for many years I was more of an advocate for keeping things like they were because I wanted the regular season games to matter. But I guess in some ways, more regular season games will matter when you've got more teams now, because even teams with a loss, they'll still be in it and still have a chance. Like Florida State, who stumbled early on, but if they can right the ship, get it together, and improve their play, they could potentially, even if they don't win, win their conference. But let's say if they have 10 wins or so, they could potentially get in. So
that will be interesting to see how that all plays out. I wish that somehow Raymond James was in the mix to host some type of game in that playoff. Yeah, we've done really well when we've had the national championship here.
Yeah.
And, the Outback's a great setting too.
That is true, and I think, of course, they're gonna have some of the games are gonna be with the major bowl games. So I know the Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl. I don't maybe the Cotton Bowl. Those places are going to host it. But down the line, I guess that comes to. There was an article recently on: is it time for a redo of Raymond James or more upgrades, or would they consider building a whole new stadium? It's amazing how quickly Raymond James. It doesn't seem like it was built that long long ago, but I guess 25, 26 years now, and stadiums, the moment they're built, they almost become obsolete when you see all these other huge monstrosities being built.
Well, the other thing too is some of these stadiums are pro stadiums, and you got to realize that that's going to be going on during the pro season. There could be pro playoffs, so it'd be a tough turnaround to play there on a Saturday, and then come back on a Sunday.
Good point.
Especially a place like Raymond James, but
it's interesting. So,
well, I hope somebody will be interested in going tonight, and that we can let them a smile for nothing tonight.
Well, I'm sure they're going to get scooped up, and the
Yes.
home team radio show appreciates it, Kirk.
Yes, absolutely,
No problem.
Kirk. We appreciate that. Yeah, so
All right.
thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
You too, Kirk. Yes. So for those interested in going to the USF game tonight, call in to get those tickets. You can give Matt your information. We'll get Kirk so we can transfer the all the information to the email and put it on the phone. That's something I've never been good with the new technology. That's another reason.
You don't even describe it correctly, so that's why.
Yeah, well, that's another. You know what? That's another reason why. It's not the main reason I don't go to the games anymore, but that's an important reason because I'm not good with the
I want a
technology.
paper ticket too, Jason.
I like a paper
I
ticket
want
in
a
my
paper
hand.
ticket.
Keep it
I
simple, please.
Well, no, I do the same thing. I've been doing this since 2007. I have a scrapbook at home. It's a notebook where I keep all the ticket stubs from every sporting event I've gone to with the box score from the paper the next day.
Right.
It's getting almost impossible now with all the tickets being on the phone.
Well, and of course, they did have those plastic cards they used to give you at the Bucks games, and we would go down to one Buck place and have them just print out the tickets, and then they don't even do that anymore. So whatever. I'm not. It's a headache I don't need, so I'm not going to worry about it. We've got let's see. Anthony is with us on the line. Anthony, good morning. Welcome to the home team.
Hey, good morning, guys. And as far as the ticket printouts, I actually have my phone has a cracked screen, so when I go through the check-in, the reader won't read my screen, so I go to the ticket box and the service counter, and they'll print the ticket out for you. So there's a method they can still do that for the fans. So
that's good to know.
Yeah,
I appreciate
it is.
that.
But you do have to wonder if you could go there and they can print it out for you. Why can't they do that ahead of time anyway? If for those that want the printed tickets,
Yeah, you might want to check if they're season ticket members. They might want to check with their representative and request if they can actually mail them the tickets printed out. I think they can offer that option. So just a little bit of advice for those who want the tickets printed out.
Right.
Go that route.
But I'm with you, Jason. And not only that, the fact that I got to go to these games now and I have to pay everything with a card or my phone, I can't even get a hot dog and pay cash for it anymore. I'm with you. It's just trying to be crazy.
No good.
Thank you, Marshall, for mentioning that, because now whenever I go to the games, I don't even use my phone, the barcode, because I don't know if my card is going to be accepted through there. And so I don't want to. I mean, what's the deal with the cash? I mean, you can, if it's something about handling the money. To provide them with these sponges that I've seen at certain supermarkets where the person will dip their hands in the sponge to clean their fingers. I mean, I don't see what's the big deal. They're gonna handle money somewhere out there in the world.
Germs.
We never had a problem for how many
everywhere.
years?
Yeah, listen. I heard someone say one time, you know what? I've been shaking people's hands as a greeting for all my life, and I'm not dead yet. So I mean, okay. And believe me, I used to have I sometimes have a germ phobia, but something's just enough. All right.
There's also something, Anthony, about when it comes up on my phone and I'm buying 2 beers for $18 a piece, and it asks for percentage of tip. It just drives me crazy. I just want to throw a few bucks in a tip jar, and I'd rather feel better about doing that than slap it on 10%, 20%.
Yeah.
And then everybody looks at you like oh, you're going to tip, right? On your phone. Like, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, just the convenience. I mean, the convenience of just giving the person the option. It's a lot quicker. The transaction's a lot quicker. But anyways, let me get to the Bucks. I mean, if any of you guys saw the Washington Patriots game last week, we don't have the dilemma of having rotating quarterbacks. I mean, that game with the Patriots rotating quarterbacks, I know it's the preseason, but we don't have to deal with the dilemma of that with Baker here. It's just, and then Washington, I didn't really see them putting up much of an effort to beat the Patriots last week. So if the Bucs play their game and are disciplined, I don't see why they're going to have a trouble.
Well, the Redskins, as you can see, I can't call them.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
They have some weapons because Austin Eckler's not playing. They got him. Jaden Daniels is going to be kind of tough to deal with because he's one of those quarterbacks that'll give the Bucs some fits.
Dan Quinn's
they got weapons.
Dan Quinn's the head coach right now, the former Atlanta coach.
Weapons.
Yes, and he's. I think he's a good coach and is going to get them going. It might take a little time. I think right now, certainly, that's a game that Bucs should win. But look, this is the NFL. You have to show up. And granted, there's always going to be teams that surprise you every year, and there's going to be teams that disappoint you.
But I agree. Okay? They should win.
Yeah.
But those X factors sometimes scare you.
I will tell you this much. I know it's maybe because of the heat, but I wish they would not put this game at 4:00, especially early in the year, because guess what's right around the corner? Thunderstorms with a lot of rain and a lot of lightning. And you know what's going to happen.
Did you see what happened this week?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I did. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to get out there. They're going to start playing. There's going to be lightning in the area, and the game is going to be delayed. And delayed for who knows how long. I just wish they would not put those games at that time at the beginning of the season when you've got constant, like clockwork. Every single day you got thunderstorms right around that late afternoon time. I just think that that's a mistake. But
I agree
what do I know? What do we know?
My main issue with the Bucs is that they don't let up. If they're leading, they don't let up, especially since we got some veteran defensemen. We got David, we got this guy Ernest Brown, Vita Vey. We can't drop can't let their guards down and kind of get complacent. Just pummel them as much as you can. Keep that lead going and just keep the defense, man. Because I've seen some times prior to seasons where there's just gaps in the defense, and guys were running right through them. And it's like you can't allow that. So
the one game last year that it was a really bad game for the defense was the Houston game, the one on the road where C.J. Stroud just went crazy and was throwing the ball all over the field, up and down. Outside of that, I thought the defense did a decent job. We got a lot of young players. Hopefully, guys like Kalijah Cansey and Yaya Diaby and the others are gonna make strides and are gonna get better. And so the defense is gonna be good. And obviously Todd Bowles, our head coach, is a defensive-minded coach.
Well, the thing with Todd Bowles is I'm glad he didn't get into that rut. It was similar to Lovie Smith and Raheem Morris, where he became like the buddy of the players and then lost touch with them because when he started getting a little bit more disciplined with them, they wouldn't measure up. They wouldn't obey him. So I'm glad he kind of seen a little more a tougher image. In other words, so let's hope he stays in that mold. And as far as I'm sad to hear about Johnny Gaudreau, man. It's one of those situations where upcoming player like that, and it's just the danger of just cyclists out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you take you have like rotating head. You got to have eyes behind your head when you're riding a bicycle.
It's sad, and it's sad. I mean, it's bad enough, for someone to be impaired by alcohol, but in general, drivers don't pay attention to it. Everyone is with the phones, or you're just daydreaming, or trying to drive too aggressive. And you just have to. The people have to be careful. You have to look out for for other people on the road, and just be responsible. But it's just a horrific tragedy. You just hate to see that. I mean, him and his brother, dying like that. Very sad.
For those fans who are cycling to the games, to Emily Arena and cycling back home, be on your lookout. Keep your eyes focused and don't take anything for granted, man. So, anyways, Okay, guys, thanks so much.
Let's get the score for Miami, Florida today. What do you think?
Oh boy, you know what? I really don't like either one, but the less of the two evils, I would say Florida. So I don't like Miami. So I'm going to go 32-28.
Okay, Florida, and at a halftime?
Let's go 12-12.
12-12 tie. Okay. Anthony, you are the first person to pick Florida today. Interesting. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, guys.
All right, Anthony, take care.
Take care.
Talk to you next week. Yep. Interesting. Yeah, that's I am curious. Now Florida's got the quarterback is Graham Mertz, I think, is back, right? He was their quarterback last year. He's still, of course, Miami's got the transfer from Washington State, Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
So they're excited, but that's it's going to be interesting. It could go. I think it could go either way. Two coaches are on the hot seat there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to start college football.
It is.
Again, 3:30 in Gainesville. It's going to be hot. Could be some storms.
Yeah.
Again, just like what you were talking about. Sometimes these games.
The Bucks. I know
this time of year in August.
but you look at Florida's schedule, the tough schedule, and we've seen it in recent years. If they get off to a bad start, I think Napier's gone. I think he's gone right away. I just don't think they're going to even mess around. He's already entering, and see, the thing is, unfortunate thing for a coach in that situation, going, let's say 8-4. Would be a very good, respectable record for most programs, but not for Florida.
I think they'd be okay with that this year.
Because of the
schedule.
But in general, I think because the first two seasons went poorly, or just not, at least not great under Napier. That's where he's under enormous pressure to perform this year, to show that he can not just he can recruit, but get the guys to play on the field. We're going to hit a break right here, but let me give out the phone numbers once again: 727-441-3000, 727-441-3000. We'll be back right after this on the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network, AM 1340 and AM 1350, FM 106.1 and 102.3, and Facebook
Live.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now is a great time to shop your homeowners and auto insurance. Alliance Mutual Insurance can lower your cost on insurance during these challenging economic times. Alliance Mutual, an independent agency, is in the Tampa Bay area, locally owned with over 20 years experience. They have access to dozens of independent carriers and can find the lowest price with the highest quality coverage. Citizens is not your only option. Call or text Jamie Brown, a home team listener and supporter, at 727-637-2341. That's Jamie Brown at 727-637-2341. This is Paul Porter. Even though I'm sorry to say we've lost our good friend and longtime sponsor, LZ Mahoney, I'm happy to tell you his legacy of Mahoney's Auto Repair at 4040 54th Avenue North in St. Petersburg lives on. They're in need of a light mechanic who can perform oil changes, battery changes, tire repair, and rotation. If you have those skills or know someone who does and would like to be a part of keeping LZ's legacy alive, please call Terry at 727-527-7773 or stop by the shop at 4040 54th Avenue North in St. Petersburg. Pay is based on experience, and you can start as soon as you're available. Once again, if you or someone you know would like to keep Mahoney's Auto helping those in need of car repair, call 727-527-7773 or stop by and see Terry at 4040 54th Avenue North in St. Petersburg. This is Paul Porter for Second Time Sports at 2104 Main Street, right next to Walmart, just west of Belcher Road. You can save big on new or gently used sports equipment from hockey to soccer to baseball. They're now selling and renting gently used bicycles. Don't pay retail at the chain sports stores. Check out the large selection at Second Time Sports at just a fraction of the cost. Second Time Sports, 2104 Main Street, next to Walmart, just west of Belcher Road. Call them at 727-784-0007 and tell them what you're looking for. My new windows from FAS Windows and Doors are in. I couldn't be happier with the job they did, from measuring perfectly to prompt and exact installation. How did I choose FAS over all the other window companies? I've known Ernie and John Wilding for nearly 20 years. They're father and son and started FAS Windows and Doors way back in 2005. In fact, FAS actually stands for Father and Son. They are Central and West Central Florida's largest volume window and door dealer, with showrooms and distribution facilities in both Tampa and Orlando. As you know, I never endorse a product or service unless I've used them or thoroughly researched them. Their objective is providing the best quality windows and doors on the market at reasonable prices with a customer service level that is unsurpassed in the industry. Never an obligation when you call 866-737-7173 or visit them on the internet at faswd.com or call 866-737-7137. You'll be glad you did. I sure am. 10 years ago, my wife and I started a nonprofit ministry to help victims of domestic violence called Reach Out, Speak Out. Would you consider a donation to help our ministry? If you'd like to join our auxiliary board or just be a friend to Reach Out, Speak Out by helping with your time, talents, or treasures whenever you're available, please contact us by visiting reachoutspeakout.org. Please send your donation to Post Office Box 4979, Tampa, Florida 33677, 5013C number 47163. 0804. This is Paul Porter. You know, with the schedule I keep working for the Lightning, Magic, and Buccaneers, a good night's sleep is a must for me. That's why I'm happy to tell you about the Original Mattress Factory. Their mattresses are hand-built right here in Tampa Bay with the highest quality at a very reasonable price. They aren't like these other mattress companies that'll jack their prices up every holiday and then do a so-called super discount during their so-called sale. You actually end up paying more than what the mattress is worth. The secret is with OMF, you're getting factory direct pricing and eliminating the middleman retailer. There's no high pressure salespeople either. OMF is employee owned and they make it all about you. Double-sided mattresses, and they even email you when it's time to flip your mattress. Stop by their factory on Almerton Road in Clearwater and see for yourself, or visit one of their stores in Tampa or Brandon. There's nothing like a good night's sleep, and you'll get it with the Original Mattress Factory, and you'll get it for less. The Original Mattress Factory. The best entertainment deal for $1 in Tampa Bay is back with the return of Clearwater Threshers Dollar Tuesdays to Baycare Ballpark. Enjoy the fun and excitement of minor league baseball with $1 burn tickets, hot dogs, sodas, and more. Every homestand this summer starts with a Dollar Tuesday featuring admission and select concession items for just $1. Visit threshersbaseball.com. Then visit Baycare Ballpark in Clearwater for Dollar Tuesdays presented by Top Notch Pest Control.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And welcome back to the home team. This is Jason Alessio along with Marshall O'Shields. And we're talking a lot of college football right here because we're probably going to talk some baseball right now because we've got our good friend Al on the line. Al, good morning. Welcome to the home team.
Yeah. I see the Rays got hammered last night pretty good.
13-5.
Yeah, I know that. But the team is in trouble right now is the Yankees. The two big bats are doing nothing. All that pitcher got to do is throw the ball down there, and they swing at pitches. They can't recognize a pitch anymore. I think Judge had in the last 3 games, I think he had around 10 strikeouts.
Well, but he's hit a lot of home runs, Al. I mean, you got to give it to the guy. I mean, he's making history with the number of what he's doing
Only
there.
Al could call up and rag on the best player in baseball right now.
He's
I
doing
love
a little
you, Al.
something
You're the
right.
best.
I'll tell you one thing, you better watch out. Otani's going to come back and catch him.
Yeah. Otani is great.
Every day, and Judge is doing nothing. All he does is looks at pitches, and he swings at the opposite pitcher.
Yeah, the home run though can be the great equalizer, and I think some teams and fans they'll take you striking out a lot if often enough you're going to hit that one out of the ballpark with guys on base that'll make the difference in a win or a loss. Though that's the one thing about that.
The last 2 games they played with the what do you call it? The Naturals.
The Nationals?
And he struck out 8 times.
Yeah.
Then last night he struck it out 4 more times.
Yeah.
He's swinging at pitcher. The pitcher don't have to, all he has to do is throw the ball. They're swinging at pitches, him and Stanton both.
Well, a lot of the guys, they're after the home run.
That catcher last night, they would have lost that game.
What's your take on the Rays? I know obviously they traded away so many of the key players. They're starting to fade now. They're 2 games under 500, but
they're not going nowhere. They're finished for the year. They must.
Yeah. I think the hope is they could finish maybe a little bit over 500. I just don't know. You worry. Well, what I would hate to see happen is having stayed close all year and staying competitive, that they just go into a complete tailspin and they finish on like a terrible losing streak and finish way under 500.
Then they go under.
They haven't been able to stay over 500.
All these new ball players they got this year, and they didn't do very good.
Well, the hope is next season they're counting on some of these young players, the players they got in these trades, to develop and be really good. I mean, they are excited about them. I'm sure they've got talent. We'll see how they develop.
Judge is hitting 331 with 51 homers, 123 RBIs, and Al's ragging on him.
Well, strikeouts. He struck out though, so hey, you gotta call it like it is. I mean, at least the strikeout is strikeout.
And them guys go up there and they bat. The only ones who's really been hitting is Diaz, and you got Walls. You got his brilliant 2 runs.
Yeah. When they traded away Rosarena and Paredes, that was two of their big boppers there with the bat. So that's going to hurt them. And plus they were playing this season again without their top 3 pitchers.
Baccarina put it on the Rays in Seattle, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did.
And,
we got somebody from Seattle watching on Facebook. Mike from Seattle. He probably saw that Rosarena thing or close and personal. That's the new Randy Land now.
Yeah. So that's that. Al, we got the contest on the Miami and Florida today. What do you think?
I think Florida's going to win it.
Okay, what's the score?
I'd say 28-21.
28-21 Gators. And how about at the halftime?
10-0 Florida.
Florida, okay, 10-0 at halftime. Okay. So yeah, you've got a few people that picked the Gators as of late. So, all right, Al. Well, good to talk with you, and we'll keep watching, and keep watching. We'll see if Judge can cut back on the strikeouts a little bit.
I give up on him.
Okay. All right, Al. Thanks so much.
He gets 55 home runs.
Yeah. All righty.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see. Thank you so much. Don W.
The score.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Let me mention this. Thank you, Marsha. I was going to mention Don W. I corrected your score. I know you picked Florida. Initially, we had said Miami, but you picked Florida 30-19. And, of course, Florida had halved 17-14. So you did pick Florida. But we got that down corrected. And the USF. Yes, let me bring this up. The USF, we have 2 USF tickets still available. Our good friend Kirk has offered them for tonight's game against Bethune-Cookman. The game starts at 7. So if you call in, give your information to Matt, he'll relay that to Kirk, and Kirk can transfer those tickets to your phone. So for those who would like to go to the USF game tonight, it's going to be a night at around 7 o'clock, so we'll be nice, won't be near as hot as if it would be a day game. They're playing Bethune-Cookman. So
he's going to transfer them to your email that you can pull up on your phone.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I stand corrected. All right.
We're from the same era, Jason. We're from the same era. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm old school.
Hey, Kirk, transfer me a few beers too, will you?
That would be good.
Or at least spend all the money for the beers.
I know. I got a kick out of Al with the Aaron's Judge though. That's
doesn't matter how many home runs he's gonna hit.
You know what? I wonder what he would say about the Babe Ruth. Now I'm sure
that would be entertaining.
Yeah, but I'm sure Babe Ruth struck out some too. Well, he was overweight. That's what he'll say about it. He'll say, get your butt in shape, buddy. You want to be a baseball player, but that's good for Al. Al's he's old school. Looking. He's obviously when it comes to players, he's a bit of a perfectionist. And while yes, it's true, you hit home runs, but I guess if you could cut back on the strikeouts, the old thing I heard when I played Little League Baseball, they always say, hey, a walk is just as good as a hit. Okay, if the pitch is out of the zone, don't swing at it. You get on first base. That's just as good as getting a hit. So, and there is some truth to that. But that's good. The guy, yeah. he's having an amazing season, but not everyone.
Not everybody's appreciating it. We just found out.
I would seem like the type of guy who would look at Babe Ruth's best year, which was the year he hit 60 home runs in 1927, and he would go, 60 home runs, 356 batting average. He struck out 89 times. Forget it. He's not worth it.
Listen, our good friend Brooklyn Yankee. Okay, I mean he would hammer Joe Torre despite the Yankees, winning 4 titles and in what was it, five seasons or whatever. But
I tell you what, we're tailgating. We're tailgating time. Everything's getting ready to go. So Jason, what do you got going for us?
Well, listen, we've got our Bucks cookies with the Edible Image logo on them. We even still had some creamsicle cupcakes. From it was creamsicle day, and we're doing a lot.
Do you guys have a tailgate package or anything you can put together?
We've done those a couple of years. Basically, we might do something like that. But basically, we got a great catering menu too. We offer Cuban sandwich platters, mini devil crabs, mini empanadas, ham croquettes, dessert trays, so much more. You can we have menus in the store. But you can look at. I'll go onto our website, the Alessi Bakery website, pull up our catering menu. We've got a lot of wonderful items there. We've always got guava turnovers, apple turnovers, danishes, eclairs, cannolis, Napoleons. We've got a wonderful deli offering a variety of sandwiches. Our Cuban sandwich, our hand-carved Cuban especially, is one to try. That's with the actual meat you cut right off the block of meat, the seasoned ham and the mojo pork that's shredded right off the big block of meat there. That's the old school Cuban sandwich. We've got our devil crabs, beef empanadas, Philly cheesesteak. We have burgers, Reubens, you name it. And, of course, our famous scacciata pizza. That's our cold meat pizza. We sell in several different size boxes. There's a box of 40 pieces, a medium-sized one of 20 pieces, and a small one of 10 pieces. So you can always come in and get that. And then place an order. If you want to call in an order over the phone, please always do that. That way, if you're coming a little later in the day, we won't sell out of that item. We can hold it for you, whatever you like, and you can do that. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sundays 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This Monday, for the Labor Day holiday, we will be closing a little early at 3 p.m. So this Monday for that holiday will be open 8 to 3.
Let me ask you something. For the last minute person who doesn't plan like everybody else does, it doesn't call. If I was to show up and say, "Hey, could you put a platter together for me?" Can you pull that off?
No, we could do that. Yeah, okay. Yes, generally we can. Now sometimes with the sandwiches, like if it's a Cuban sandwich, we at least have to have the longer loaves of bread. Sometimes if we sell out of the bread, we might not be able to do that one, but we can always and I always tell people too, we can always put together any amount of pastries, put on it's a little upcharge to put it on the platter, but what we could do, people have picked out their own pastries from the front counter. We can get a platter and put that on it. No problem. We can always do that. Yep. Let's hit a break right now. I'll give out the phone numbers one more time. 727-441-3000. 727-441-3000. We'll be back after this on the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network. FM 106.1 and 102.3, AM 1340 and 1350, and Facebook
Live.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
When you talk about ice rink development in West Central Florida, one name stands alone: Iceman Development, LLC. Gordy Zimmerman, president and founder of Iceman Development, has played an integral part in the construction of the Ice Sports Forum in Brandon, the training home of the 3-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Advent Health Center Ice Complex, a multi-million-dollar facility boasting 150,000 square feet, and ranked the top indoor ice rink facility by both the USA Today and Yelp. Iceman Development is currently involved in creating yet another outstanding ice rink facility in Trinity and Pasco County. Iceman's company mission is to build community projects that impact the area both in quality of life and economic growth. For more information, visit icemandevelopment.com. That's Iceman with 2 N's, development.com. Much like the weather, your life could change at the drop of a hat. Don't be caught unprepared. You don't know what will happen tomorrow, but no matter what happens to you, you can make sure your loved ones are provided for with a life insurance policy from Auto Owners Insurance. Meet with a local independent agent and secure a policy now to rest easy knowing you're protecting the ones you love. Visit Vermost Insurance in Tampa Bay today at vermost.com. This is Paul Porter for Second Time Sports at 2104 Main Street, right next to Walmart, just west of Belcher Road. You can save big on new or gently used sports equipment from hockey to soccer to baseball. They're now selling and renting gently used bicycles. Don't pay retail at the chain sports stores. Check out the large selection at Second Time Sports at just a fraction of the cost. Second Time Sports, 2104 Main Street, next to Walmart, just west of Belcher Road. Call them at 727-784-0007 and tell them what you're looking for.
Life Builders Christian Counseling Center brings hurting people to wholeness in Christ. Life Builders is a professional counseling center with multiple counselors and locations in Brandon and Tampa. They offer in-person, Zoom, and group sessions, counseling individuals, married couples, children and adolescents, and families. Some of our licensed counselors take most insurances. Call 813-438-5949 or visit lifebuilderscounseling.org. Life Builders can help. 813-438-5949 and at lifebuilderscounseling.org.
This is Paul Porter. You know, with the schedule I keep working for the Lightning, Magic, and Buccaneers, a good night's sleep is a must for me. That's why I'm happy to tell you about the Original Mattress Factory. Their mattresses are hand-built right here in Tampa Bay with the highest quality at a very reasonable price. They aren't like these other mattress companies that'll jack their prices up every holiday and then do a so-called super discount during their so-called sale. You actually end up paying more than what the mattress is worth. The secret is with OMF, you're getting factory direct pricing and eliminating the middleman retailer. There's no high pressure salespeople either. OMF is employee owned and they make it all about you. Double-sided mattresses, and they even email you when it's time to flip your mattress. Stop by their factory on Almaton Road in Clearwater and see for yourself, or visit one of their stores in Tampa or Brandon. There's nothing like a good night's sleep, and you'll get it with the Original Mattress Factory, and you'll get it for less. The Original Mattress Factory. Happy 60th birthday, Cambridge Christian School. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Porter, voice of the Lightning, here to tell you about the exciting growth happening here at CCS. Coming this fall is our state-of-the-art 45,000 square foot high school and STEM lab. For over 60 years, Cambridge Christian's award-winning academics, athletics, and the arts has been changing the way you think about Christian education. Visit us today at ccslancers.com. After a car accident, there are many questions that you need answers to. Who pays for my car repairs? Who pays for the medical bills? What about my lost wages? And more. The personal injury law firm of Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes has been answering these questions for their clients for nearly 70 years. Since 1955, they've been a voice of the injured in the legal system. As one of the longest established law firms in Tampa Bay, Pernick, Caulfield, Averill, and Noyes is here to answer your questions. Listen to their live call-in radio show on this channel every Tuesday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. or call them at 727-796-8282 or visit them at voiceoftheinjured.com. Offices Clearwater, non-attorney spokesperson.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And welcome back to our final segment of the home team here. This is Jason Alessi along with Marshall O'Shea. We're watching the TV here. They're live at College Station for the Texas A&M Notre Dame game. They just brought out a whole bunch
you didn't
of
see what
brisket.
They just brought out there. You missed out.
We want to jump to the TV and start eating.
Jalapeno cornbread. My goodness.
Texas sausage in there.
The juices are flowing for some college football now.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go home after this and get a bite to eat somewhere and start watching the games. But going back to the big lineup today, the first game, Georgia and Clemson. You think Clemson might give them?
I never
run,
underestimate.
Pull the upset.
I think one of the interesting things about Clemson and Florida State is we're both suing the ACC, but we're both still playing in the ACC, and we got new members. You got Cal, SMU that have come in, and
Stanford, and you mentioned that.
So you're like, it's kind of a strange situation. You're still a part of it, but you're fighting to get out. You got lawsuits going on. It's just a crazy situation. But Clemson and Florida State are still the programs. Miami is going to try to get there this year, but I think Dabo will have those kids ready to play, and it wouldn't surprise me if they beat Georgia.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
But like I said, I don't think Clemson can hurt themselves. We were talking earlier. This is one of those games where both teams will probably end up being in the playoff down the road.
Well, and getting back to the 12-team playoff, the way it's going to be set up. So you get 5, and remember this: there are no more Power 5 conferences because the Pac-12 is no more. So you really have the Power 4, the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12. The way it's going to work again, the 5 top-ranked conference champions. So they're putting the emphasis on winning your conference championship. Those teams are going to be in the playoff for sure.
So what's the 5th conference?
It depends. Whichever team is the highest ranked, whichever one, from whether it be the American to the Mid-American,
right,
to the Western Athletic Conference, the Mountain West, the Sun Belt. I mean, it's all. Again, that's the great thing for a team like at least USF for right now. The teams that are in the non-power conferences, they do have a shot. Okay. And see, the other thing about that, what makes this intriguing, you could talk about, well, it's just going to be the top 12 teams, according to committee, the top 12 ranked teams. No, it's not, because the key is conference champion. If some of the conference champions have 2 or 3 losses, okay, but they've won their conference and they're the highest ranked of those conference champions, they're going to be in where you could have, let's say, a 1-loss team that knocks them out.
I agree, but I think I'm going to go as far to say I think even in the top 12, I think you're going to have a 3-loss team that gets in.
Yeah,
I think
probably
you're going to have an SEC team that maybe lost to Alabama, Georgia, and somebody else. And you're like, wow,
it's going to be an unusual situation. Yep. But here's the other thing. Remember, the conference championship games have been known to mess things up some, because if you have one team, let's say that's undefeated or has 1 loss in a conference going against the other team in that conference with 4 losses.
And you still have to throw the Notre Dame conundrum in there. They're not affiliated with a conference,
which means that Notre Dame at the very best can finish. They can be the number 5 seed.
Right.
They will not be one of the top 4 teams with the first round bye because they're not in a conference. And of course, and Notre Dame, that's by their choice. They want to have that contract with NBC, which they've had for many years. So they have.
I wonder if this would change their thinking a little bit because of this, right? Maybe this is part of the plan that gets them to buy in and actually,
Well, you wonder, because again, that first round bye, it's 1 less game.
Exactly,
that you have
and
to
it's
play.
a home game,
and it is, yeah.
I mean, it's a big time home game.
So we'll see what happens there. But I think it's going to be fun to watch. But it does give hope for the teams from the smaller conferences that if one of them it goes undefeated or has just 1 loss, they could potentially get in the college football playoff now, where before, with just the 4 teams, I think the only team we saw do it was Cincinnati a couple of years ago, when Cincinnati was still a member of the American, and they went undefeated. One of their big wins was over Notre Dame. That kind of really helped catapult them into the 14 playoff. But otherwise, teams really didn't have a shot if you were not in one of the major conferences. So this will be better for that.
It does. It creates a bigger interest around the country, I think, is what you're saying. Yeah, everybody having a chance is always good.
And it does give more teams who may stumble early on in the season a chance to rebound. And so we'll see what happens there. But again, big games: Notre Dame, Texas A&M tonight, LSU. Another game we mentioned off the air: Penn State, West Virginia. That's Penn State is highly ranked. They have high expectations this year in the Big Ten. That's not an automatic. West Virginia usually gives any team a tough run for its money.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me either. I mean, I think that's going to be a great game. You're not sure what Franklin has at Penn State. He's another guy that seems to be on the hook every year, but seems to do just enough to be around.
We saw what happened Thursday night, Colorado in North Dakota State. Exciting game, back and forth. I figured North Dakota State would give them everything that they could handle. Even though they're an FCS school, they're one of the best FCS school, and has been a long time. Deion Sanders, I know, Marshall, you mentioned you're not as high on him and what's going on there, even though he gets a lot of attention. There seems to be, certainly in Boulder at the University of Colorado, there's a lot of excitement, but something about it you don't buy into.
He hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he took a bad program, an awful program, and now they're bad. But I just don't like the way he goes about his business. There's a lot of players leaving the program talking about the experience they had, and I think he's all about him and his kids.
You know, and I saw some of
and if he stays and proves me wrong and stays there for 5 or 6 years after his kids are gone, which I don't think is going to happen because they're already touting him for the Cowboys job and all the media outlets. Then he proved me wrong. Prove me wrong. Do something, stay there, build something, and show me something. Don't go into somewhere and then now pick another place and go and try to build up a bad program again. Show me that you can do something and sustain it. That's, I guess, what I'm saying.
And I also saw him, some of the interviews with some of the media, he's refusing to answer some questions against guys he doesn't, or some of the people he doesn't like, or they think that they disrespected him. But first of all, that's part of the job. But the other thing is, you're right. What has he done yet? I mean, he was a Division I AA. It was at Jackson State, did very well, but Colorado last year, they got off to a fast start, but they went 4-8. That's not very good.
Now, his sons can't play for 8 years, even though he's going to probably try to get him to do it.
The one I will tell you now, his son Shedeur Sanders is a dynamic player, but the guy I just think is unbelievable is that Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean,
old school playing
players.
offense and defense, playing wide receiver and playing cornerback, and he's phenomenal at both. I mean, what a dynamic weapon he is. So and they could be Heisman Trophy candidates, even if the team is not great, but if their numbers are solid through the whole season, I think they certainly could potentially win the Heisman or be up there.
But what I see is that being his goal.
Yeah,
I just think that they're going to try to highlight those guys and do everything they can, and that's just my opinion. And I'm not sure that's the right way to go.
Yeah,
that's
I know. I mean, he's a showman. He's a loudmouth. He's a show off. I mean, he was that as a player, so you could say that he's that as a coach too. I mean, one of those polarizing guys. You either love him or hate him. But we'll see how he does though. Colorado has a tough schedule ahead of them, so it's not going to be easy. Okay, again, U.S. Regular season opens up. Kansas City and Baltimore, Philadelphia. Who are some of the teams? I know we talked about the Bucs, but in general, Super Bowl. Who are you looking at this year in the NFL?
I think that the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC this year. Everybody still says the 49ers, but I think the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is going to figure it out this year.
Yeah,
he's got
Saquon Barkley.
That Saquon Barkley deal to me, that's a game breaker because that's the guy they never had back there.
Yeah.
And if he can stay healthy, which is always what we say, that delivers a big blow to that offense that's going to free Hurts up to imagine Hurts and Barkley running.
Yeah.
And I just think that they've got the weapons. Defensively, I'm not so sure, but like I said, I think the NFC's wide open. I mean, Detroit is okay, but let's face it, they've had one really good season.
Can they keep it up after that? That's going to be that's interesting. I know Nick Sirianni's been on the hot seat. Let's do the picks here. I know the Miami Florida game. I'm gonna go with the Hurricanes. I'm gonna go 27-23 Miami, and I'll say at halftime they lead. Miami leads 17-14. Matt, what do you think?
I'll go tied at half, 14-all.
14-all. Okay.
I'll take Miami to win it 30-27.
Miami to win it 30-27. Marshall, what do you got?
Matt, who's going to be winning at halftime? Oh, never.
I said tie game.
I'm going to take Florida. I think this is going to be one of those games that they can build some momentum off of. They're playing at home. Cam Ward playing in the swamp. I think they're going to create some problems for him. So I'm going to take Florida, and I'm going to say Florida wins. I'm going to go 31-24 Florida, and we'll go 21-7 at halftime. Florida.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's going to be a lot of big games today. Of course, that one has it's the in-state matchup. A lot on the line there. So we'll see what happens. Marshall, thank you for joining us. This has been a lot of fun and
flies by like it does every time.
It does fly by. But you know what? It's exciting. Football's here. College football's here. The pros here is going to be next week. I look forward to having a complete weekend, college and pro football. There's nothing like it. Yep. We always seem to be waiting for it. It seems to fly by so quickly, and then we're waiting for it again. Well,
appreciate
it's
everybody
here
on Facebook and chiming in and the callers and everything. It was great stuff today.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Great job, Matt. And we'll see you. We'll be back. Paul will be back next week right here on the home team on the Tan Talk Radio Network, AM 1340, AM 1350, FM 106.1 and 102.3. And as always, Facebook
Live.
Bye.